What up, YouTube? This is Lewis on Trans, aka L25, aka Lewis JM, and whew, boy, WWE had a very weird 2018. Ain't that true? I mean, between potential rivalries that we didn't get to see, the controversy of the whole Fabulous Moolah Battle Royal, the bigger controversy that was the Saudi Arabia stunt, including the crown jewel, and Roman Reigns' leukemia, and not to mention the whole Baron Corbin angle that kind of dipped around the ratings during December. Trust me, I've seen it all. It seems as though WWE is being desperate in 2019, trying to create a new era where they will give people championship opportunities and having big stars getting a potential rise. Though, if the one thing that they want to change, I think it's this one little tidbit. The whole Universal Championship issue. Especially when it has Brock Lesnar, a guy who rarely shows up on Raw, person who only wrestles in like big 4 pay-per-views and never really cares about, say people and never watches the show and whatnot. That's a big no-no in my opinion. Now, I know a lot of people might be complaining to me about this in the comments section, but let me give you an explanation. See, when Brock Lesnar won the Universal Championship at WrestleMania 2 years ago, back in 2017, there was speculation that he's going to hold on to it for a year until he drops the belt into last year's WrestleMania, to, obviously, Roman Reigns. But then, when that show happens, the whole thing didn't happen because Brock Lesnar won it and has gotten another contract. Again and again, they try to make it more intimidating and more determined for Roman Reigns. But let's face it, when they did the Greatest Royal Rumble with that cage match and that controversial finish, it does feel like that this is becoming an even more hassle. But then after months, which certainly felt like a long time, that Roman Reigns won the Universal title due to some foolery with Braun Strowman, and we thought we finally were able to get a champion that can actually fight. That is up until the leukemia news. Because of that, Roman Reigns has to relinquish that title and set up a new match, and that crown jewel, which was supposed to be a triple threat, was now going to be Brock Lesnar versus Braun Strowman for the vacant Universal Championship. Now, on paper, this does seem like an interesting idea because maybe this time it will give it to someone who can actually show up and fight, and it was going to be, and Brock Lesnar would finally go to the UFC. But no, it didn't happen because when it happened on Crown Jewel, which was the most controversial thing, trust me, I've seen it. It was for an angle which involves Baron Corbin being the interim Raw general manager, and it kind of and he attacked Braun Strowman. Brock gave him multiple F5s, and before you know it, he's back being a champion again. Logic. Does WWE have this? So now it's February 2019 and Brock Lesnar is still a champion. And even if there was some kind of lingering light when they had Finn Balor take part in the WWE Universal title match with Brock Lesnar, it didn't go too well, and well, you know how it all went. So now we're going to have a Seth Rollins Brock Lesnar match, which I'm hoping it's going to happen. Brock Lesnar will relinquish that title, and maybe we get a fighter who can actually fight. But then I'm starting to speculate that it's not going to happen because, let's face it, Brock Lesnar deserves more money. and deserves more attention and deserves pretty much everything, and it will lead to quote-unquote bullshittery in WrestleMania, where Brock will remain the champion. So, why am I stating this? Why is Brock Lesnar still staying in WWE far longer than anticipated, let alone keeping that title as his own personal trophy and not even caring about going to the UFC that much? Well, I have a couple of good reasons as to why this has happened, and I know it's because of contracts and stuff like that, but there are other reasons that might be connected to the reason why Brock Lesnar still has that title and still is in the company. So, the first reason was the title itself. When the rebooted brand split happened, you have the WWE Championship going to SmackDown, which leaves Raw with no championship title, which is the reason why the Universal Championship was created. Now, there were speculations as to what the Universal Championship would have looked like before the whole SummerSlam match happened between Seth Rollins and Finn Balor. But, when the reveal actually happened, oh boy, what a reaction. Trust me, I was there with a few friends at the Barclays Center. I've seen what everyone's reactions were when that title came up. That it was complete dumpster fire. I mean, they would have gone for whatever Universal Championship they would have, but nope. It's always the same old, and jeez, it's become a complete and utter pain when it comes to it. So yeah, that happened, and then you had the participants who won it before Brock Lesnar. You had Finn Balor who won it, which would have made an interesting premise, but then he got injured and had to relinquish it a day later. Then it's given to Kevin Owens, which was somewhat alright, but his wins were based around conflueries with Chris Jericho. So yeah, that was a bad one. And then you had that quote-unquote Goldberg thing, which was kind of okay. But let's face it, he was just as semi-retired as Brock Lesnar. So pretty sure even if whoever wins, we're still gonna lose it because they rarely show up. Because they're just half-timers, and let's just say it's a bit mess. So yeah. Universal Championship has had some major flack as of late. The second option is the lack of talent that would have represented the Universal Championship. Now, I get why Vince McMahon wants Brock Lesnar to become the Universal Championship. It is just for the fact that he's a big man, and as to quote King Ross, Vince McMahon loves big, sweaty men. But why even keep it as a championship when you have many, many others who would want to be the champion? You have people like, say, Bobby Lashley. You have Dolph Ziggler. You got Drew McIntyre, who's a big resurgence. Hell, give John Cena a championship. Even if he is a half-timer now, at least he would give it some meaning. Hell, as I mentioned, Finn Balor would have won the Universal Championship at the Royal Rumble this year if it hadn't been for Brock Lesnar's so-called way of trying to obtain it. Even if Finn Balor had the match won in his favor. And even if Seth Rollins now is going to have himself that quote-unquote match with Brock Lesnar, it still won't matter because it's going to be a matter of time before WWE decides to change their mind and have Brock obtain the championship again, just so they can give him another contract. Which I hope to God it's not going to be about 10 years or so, because I think that's what the company would go for. So yeah, it is becoming frustrating to see certain talent not getting title opportunity for the Universal Championship and just remain in the mid-card hell for quite a long time. And it's going to get worse if if WWE keeps keeping Brock Lesnar as the championship even after WrestleMania, which I'm hoping it's not going to happen. But Jesus Christ, guys, if you want to make this new era involve championships and people with opportunities, at least give that belt some credentials and some love instead of just having it as a trophy for a so-called half-timer. And then third and final reason, and this is under my opinion, is to promote the UFC itself. See, Brock Lesnar wants to go back to the UFC. There is a probable chance of that. Hell, Paul Heyman mentioned that if he remains the Universal Champion and wins the UFC title, he will be the first ever two sports champion. Now, on paper, that might be okay. But in a realistic standpoint, when you have a half-timer that really rarely shows up, yeah, that is not how you want to promote another brand. I mean, the person who does a better job at that brand is Ronda Rousey, and she has a really good rookie year during that whole rookie year during 2018 when she made her appearance at last year's Royal Rumble, and soon enough became a dominating force, winning the Raw Women's Championship. That's a good way of promoting UFC, not Brock Lesnar. So it's obvious that trying to keep Brock the Universal Championship for long so he can actually win the UFC once the so-called testing is completed. But let's be brutally honest. You think he's going to be, once he goes to the UFC and wins the UFC belt and becomes first ever two-sport champion, you think he would care about dropping the belt? From all I can understand, he might actually remain in the UFC for so long that the Universal Championship will be completely meaningless and will be nothing more than a prop for Brock to carry around in. Hell, there is but I don't know if him going to the UFC is going to be a probability as well, because there are still speculations as to him going to the AEW, that All Elite Wrestling that's been promoted non-stop since news broke out in January. So it's obvious that maybe Cody Rhodes and the Young Bucks are going to put him into this new corporation that's setting up along with Goldberg, which I find that to be highly doubtful. Still, these are my own speculations as to why Brock's remaining champion for this long, no matter how they're trying to promote him. And to be fair, I'm really done with this. I'm done with Brock. I'm done with his so-called reign. I'm done with his championship. I'm done with the Universal Championship being treated like nothing more than just a mere prop for someone. And I'm hoping that at WrestleMania, Seth Rollins would win it and just become the fighting champion that everyone wants to see on Raw, and not just someone who just shows up when he feels like it, when the money's right. So, please, WWE, if you're watching this, if any of the McMahon family watching this, don't keep giving Brock the championship for this long. Give it to someone who can actually fight and make the company mean something. Make Raw mean something. Because if you keep this up and people are going to ignore this because of Vince's obsession for big men, then what's the purpose of a championship if it's not going to be shown at Raw? Think about that. Hashtag Universal Championship, hashtag WrestleMania, hashtag fuck Brock Lesnar, hashtag where are the good cartoons.